This is the unified field. It's a very real and measurable energy field that creates everything. In fact, the field is as close to measuring God as human beings have ever gotten. And get this, all of the wealth you could ever imagine, it already exists within the field. The money, the freedom, the love, the health, the lifestyle of your dreams and fantasies, it's all already yours. But something went horribly wrong. Somewhere along the line, you bought into the story that struggle and scarcity are real. And this scarcity story literally forced the field to give you everything you don't want. In the process of this happening, your scarcity story made you forget how powerful you truly are. Here's what I mean. Imagine, just for a second, the sun represents your financial dreams and fantasies, and the clouds represent your scarcity story. Now, when the clouds cover up the sun, does the sun still exist? Yes! So do you need to manifest the sun, your financial dreams and fantasies, or clear away the cloud cover, the scarcity story you've been telling since, well, how long have you been telling it exactly? The worst part is your story about scarcity and limitation, it keeps growing every single day, constantly blocking, constantly resisting what you do want, even if you use law of attraction and other manifestation techniques. But what if it could be different? What if there was an easy way to tap into the field so you can start living the life of abundance you've been dreaming about since forever? And what if wearing any simple pair of headphones for just minutes a day could automatically reconnect you with the field? And what if your headphones could effortlessly allow your dreams and fantasies to reveal themselves just as the rays of the sun effortlessly light your world when the cloud cover clears away? Just listen and watch your circumstances automatically transform as limitation disappears and your unlimited natural state of abundance becomes your reality. My name is Mark Fischetti. I'm a fourth grade dropout and literally the last person you would expect to be talking about wealth manifestation. But I was more fortunate than most because of the alternative way I grew up. Nobody told me what I couldn't do. And therefore, what I did is, in most people's eyes, miraculous. Now, I want to repeat the Amit Goswami quote from the beginning of this presentation. He's a best-selling author, was in What the Bleep Do We Know, and is a former University of Oregon physics professor. He said, "We all have the habit of thinking that everything around us is already a thing, existing without my input, without my choice. Right there is the biggest lie ever told to humanity, because nothing exists without you and your attention upon it. Nothing." Now, what Amit is talking about, it has a name. It's called the law of attention, because every single thing in your life and your experience of reality is becoming where your attention is right now. This is very different from the law of attraction. You see, the field exists in two forms: waves, particles. The waveform is where everything exists in pure possibility, while the particle form is your physical experience. It's when the infinite possibility becomes your finite experience, or the circumstances you live on a daily basis. And it's your attention that chooses whether you're focusing on the wave of possibility or the particle of limitation. In other words, it's your attention that focuses on the finite of your current experience and keeps recreating it. You keep becoming it. And it's also your attention that allows your current circumstances to go back in the possibility so you can create something new and different, maybe better. This is what quantum physicists, including Einstein himself, call the observer effect. And the observer effect dictates that you can't separate the observer from the observed. They're one thing. In other words, Everything you're experiencing right now, whether you want it or not, you observed into reality through your attention. And here's the thing. As long as you're giving your attention to what you don't want, it must continue existing in your reality, your subjective reality, because that's what Einstein and the laws of quantum physics have shown. No, you're not attracting anything. You never were. And the whole law of attraction fad has actually tricked millions of people into giving more of their power away and their money to the creation their attention has created. In other words, you've already manifested everything you are and have. Nobody needed to teach you. The problem is you created it all from your extremely limited, scarcity-minded subconscious conditioning, but it's not your fault. You see, nobody told you that the most important skill you would ever have is knowing how to direct your effortless attention towards what you want. The question is, how do you direct your attention when 97% of your thoughts and your decisions come from subconscious conditioning and programming? I mean, how could you possibly do that? You don't even know what programs your subconscious is running in the background of your every single conscious thought. How can you change something that you don't even know exists? It's a pretty sickening catch-22, right? Well, there is an easy way out of this, and I can't wait to tell you what it is. But first, I want to tell you how I discovered it when I was just 24 years old. Okay, so my story about discovering and then living all of this law of attention stuff is a long story, but it's an important story because I'm proof of what can happen when there's nobody around to tell you what you can't do or what isn't possible. And I really had to figure that out the hard way. You see, I've always been a master manifester, and I'm not just saying that. But at some point, we all forget who we really are, what we came into this life knowing, no matter how it is we know it. And one of the scariest times I've ever experienced when I truly forgot my power was in December of 2005. I was broke and broken. I made one horrible, bad financial decision after another. And the surplus of money I had built up over the years was gone. In fact, it wasn't just gone, but I put my family into massive credit card debt. And being a fourth grade dropout, I wasn't qualified for any kind of job that paid decent money. I really messed up badly. What made me sad was I didn't even have enough money to buy presents for Christmas. And the emotional pain of not being able to buy my wife and 4-year-old daughter Christmas presents broke my heart. I wanted so much to be able to take care of them and give them the life I never had. Well, I realized I could never make enough money to crawl out of my massive debt, even if I could get a job. So it felt pointless and I felt hopeless. But then I had an idea. Now, I had an extremely unconventional upbringing, which is a gross understatement. So I thought to myself, what if I write a book or ebook about how I educated myself and lived outside the quote-unquote norm of society? My wife didn't understand. She asked me, "We have rent due in 2 weeks, Mark, and no way to pay it. And your solution is writing a book?" I said, "Yes." I started going to the Wandering Goat Coffee House in Eugene, Oregon for the next 7 days straight. And in that week's time, I wrote what became an ebook called Becoming, the Evolution of Being. It was a spiritual self-help ebook. And honestly, I had no idea if it was even any good. I never got it professionally edited, so it was full of bad grammar and really bad writing. But it was all I had. In the next few days, I taught myself how to use Adobe Photoshop and Dreamweaver to build a simple website. Check. I taught myself how to get to the top of Google's natural ranking on certain keywords with articles I wrote. Check. I converted my 80-page Word doc into a simple PDF and called it an ebook. Check. I slapped a $17 price tag on it. Check. And that's where I found myself, just days away from Christmas. We had less than $1,000 to our names. And instead of putting that money aside for food, rent, bills, and necessities, I filled the empty bottom of our Christmas tree with presents. I made sure that no matter what, I was going to give my family a Merry Christmas. And I did. But then the fear of what I did really started to mount. It really hit me. I asked myself, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life? And then I really had to wonder if I did. New Year's Day comes and my bank account is now in the red. I wrote checks I couldn't cover just to eat. That's when I remembered this really cool scene from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It had a big impact on me. Indiana found himself at a bridge that you can only see when you take the first step. So, Indiana, he put his hand on his heart and he stepped out into a dark, deep abyss. And what happened? The bridge suddenly appeared. I kept playing that scene over and over again in my mind. Around the same time, I met an older man at the coffee shop where I did all my writing. He came up to me and said, "You look lost and scared. Use this." It was this weird tone he played for me on his iPod. I listened for just a few minutes and felt instantly transformed. He said, "These sounds are the sounds your brain naturally makes. This tone merely helps clear away the noise in your head." He told me where to get these tones so I can listen to them anytime I needed. And my life was never the same. When I was going through massive trauma and hardship, this tone always helped me ground down and get clearer, more confident. And confidence is what I so desperately wanted and needed. I had to believe I made the right decision. I had to believe I didn't just completely screw my family. I had to believe I was moving in the right direction. That's when I started asking myself, how will my unlimited natural state reveal itself for me to experience right now? And every single time my fear would come up, I just go back to asking that question. All the while, I was now listening to my weird brainwave tones on my iPod my wife got for me for Christmas. And lo and behold, the Indiana Jones bridge revealed itself. In other words, I got my first sale. Yeah, I know it was just $17, but it was the most satisfying $17 I ever made in my entire life, and the excitement it generated inside of me was unbelievable. I didn't stop there. Over the next few days, the sales started raining in, and before I knew it, I had enough money to pay rent, and we were only 4 days late, not even late enough for them to call us. But again, it didn't stop there. Over the next 6 months, I pulled in over 200 grand, and I never looked back since, all because I chose to acknowledge my fears and immediately redirect my attention towards my natural state. That's when I realized my only work in this life is to acknowledge where I've given my power away to an emotional charge and tell the truth about the story I've lost myself in. And the truth is, it's not a matter of manifesting or quote unquote creating something out of nothing. It's a matter of clearing away any resistance you have to your natural state of abundance and let the sunshine of who you really are light up your reality with its abundance. What does that feel like to you? Now, an emotional charge is pretty much what it sounds like. It's having a charge or an emotional reaction to something happening in your reality. It could be a larger total at the grocery store that threatens your bank balance, or getting an unexpected car repair bill that will cost you thousands of dollars and you have no idea how you're going to afford it. Your emotional reaction to those things is signaling to you the most important bit of information you could ever know. It's saying, I'm telling a limitation story about this, whatever this is right in front of you. And yes, it's usually about money. It's telling you, I've given away my power to this. And I'm telling a story about limitation. And the only way to effortlessly allow your natural state of abundance into your life is to acknowledge you're focusing your attention on the illusion of limitation the moment you feel it. And it's an illusion because it's only real to you because you believe it. And only you believe it because it's been a part of your subconscious conditioning for your entire life. But an illusion is only real if you believe it. The moment you see the metaphorical man behind the curtain, you can't unsee it. In other words, the reason abundance, especially financial abundance, might feel like pie in the sky to you is because of your subconscious conditioning. The conditioning that's been programmed into you since you were a child. It's always resisting what you want and what's natural for you to have. Here's a visual analogy. Imagine all of your emotional baggage and subconscious conditioning is in a backpack you wear 24/7. As long as that backpack is full of your old story, you'll continue being blind to the unlimited potential that's always surrounding you. In other words, a full backpack doesn't leave any room for you to allow what you want into your life. But when you have an emotional charge and you acknowledge that your old story is being, pushed against by whatever circumstances you're reacting to, well, in that very instant, you've just lightened the load in your backpack a little bit. Because acknowledging where you've given away your power when you feel an emotional charge is how you can easily and quickly clear away your old story, clear the clouds away from the sun, and therefore the resistance to what you really want. And every time you acknowledge having an emotional charge in reaction to whatever limiting story you've been telling or whatever circumstances are playing out in your quote unquote reality, the backpack gets lighter and lighter. And your resistance to your unlimited natural state becomes less and less, which means everything you want has a clearer path of less resistance for it to become your reality. Then, as you reveal more and more of this real life magic, it becomes easier and easier to believe in the unlimited, just as much, if not more, than the illusion of limitation. In other words, discovering how to empty your backpack helps you discover your subconscious conditioning and frees up your attention to allow your natural state of abundance to become your experience, your life. But there's actually a way to accelerate dissolving your old story so you can open up to your natural state faster. And just in case you haven't put it together yet, your natural state of abundance is the field. And it can be accessed by listening to the same brainwave tone that the mysterious man gave me that day in the coffee shop. Now, this weird sound might seem mysterious, but it's an organic part of how your brain functions. You see, the brain functions in wave frequencies, and the wave of your subconscious, where all your conditioning and resistance is buried, is called theta. And it was a theta tone that I'd listen to with my headphones every single day that helped me, a fourth grade dropout who never once had so much as a tutor or a curriculum, achieve massive abundance personally and for the people I've helped. Now, here's how listening to theta tones works. Right now, your subconscious is constantly absorbing new information that actually strengthens your old story. The very story that is keeping what you want just beyond your grasp. And it's your old conditioning that directs your attention to only see what reinforces it. You see, your subconscious has a very real and direct connection with the field. So if your subconscious is saturated with old scarcity-based and limiting conditioning, the field must keep giving you more of the same. In essence, the old conditioning or old story creates and perpetuates a mental movie in your mind, and the movie just loops over and over again, holding you prisoner to the illusion of scarcity it creates in you. In other words, the old story and conditioning is the cloud cover that's blocking your unlimited natural state of abundance from freely shining into your life, right down on you, right now. But the moment your brain hears this powerful tone and suggestive hypnosis, everything automatically begins to shift. Here's what happens. When you put on your headphones, the theta tones directly access your subconscious and help your brain listen to a new story. And it forces the cloud cover to start clearing away. Now, quickly ask yourself, how did I learn my conditioning? How did I learn my limiting beliefs? If you're like me, and if you're like most people, it just kind of happened. That's why it's called your subconscious. It's underneath your conscious level of thinking. Now, here's what's amazing. When you listen to your theta tones, it's like having a direct portal into your subconscious. That's why I began to manifest incredible abundance when I started listening to this weird tone. I was deliberately directing my attention towards what I wanted every time I listened to my theta tones. And it literally reprogrammed my subconscious, clearing away all the limiting beliefs I carried with me my whole life. Eventually, I started recording my own hypnosis or guided meditation tracks over my theta tones. It helped me, quote unquote, learn without me, Mark, the identity, having to learn anything. These meticulously constructed Hypnosis tracks help me clear away my old story from my subconscious and clear away my built-in resistance to my natural state of abundance. The longer I listened to these tones, more and more baggage was automatically removed from my backpack, and effortless abundance became easier and easier because my attention was finally free to easily focus on my new story instead of letting my old story have the power to painfully resist what was naturally mine. That's when I discovered the law of attention. Now, there's a huge difference, and I mean huge, between the law of attraction and the law of attention. Intentions are fleeting and can change with the wind. That's reality. Reality with quotation marks. And because your attention is determined by your conditioning, your intentions, as good as they may be, don't stand a chance in the battle against your constant attention, driven by your conditioning. Check out this example. Let's say your car breaks down and you're hit with a $5,000 bill, literally, out of nowhere. Of course you're going to intend for a way to pay that bill as quickly as possible. Of course you are. Just imagine yourself finding that internal place where you know everything will be okay. And being able to trust that the universe will answer your call and give you what you're intending for. But then fear kicks back in, and all of a sudden, all you can think about is, how am I going to pay this? That's because your old story, your conditioning, is directing your attention, not you, and definitely not your intentions. But ask yourself yet another question. What if you could point your attention where you wanted it and never feel the resistance of your old story forcing you to focus on anything you absolutely do not want? Because when you've emptied your backpack, your attention is no longer seduced by your current circumstances. Do you want that power? Do you want to harness the law of attention? Well, now you can. It's called the Wealth Compass. Now, the Wealth Compass program is unlike anything in the self-development marketplace because I'm not trying to help you learn how to manifest anything. Far from it. You've been automatically manifesting your reality since, let's face it, forever. Your subconscious has been pulling those strings without your knowledge and, frankly, without your consent. Isn't it time to change that? Instead, the Wealth Compass program helps you rewrite the limiting and negative conditioning programmed into your subconscious without you, the identity, having to learn anything. Because again, you never learned your conditioning in the first place. It's all the beliefs, judgments, and stories you automatically absorbed without ever even knowing it. And it's all the stuff you don't even know exists that's making your most important decisions in life. So, with the Wealth Compass program, you rewrite the stories your subconscious tells you so you're able to free up your attention to focus on what you want long enough to become the observer of a reality that inspires and excites you every single day of your life. That's what happens when you open up to your natural state of unlimited abundance. But for me, it all started with creating a relationship with my natural state of abundance first. So the Wealth Compass program harnesses 4 original theta tones with my personal guided meditation or hypnosis tracks that speak directly to your limiting subconscious conditioning. And it begins by retelling the story about what's truly possible for you. But here's the thing. Whatever you believe is possible for you is always true. Again, though, I'd guess that you can't even remember the moment a specific limiting belief started for you, and that's because you didn't want it or create it. You simply absorbed it through your environment, through immersion. The beauty of knowing that is you can replace those limiting beliefs just as easily with unlimited beliefs if you're truly ready to experience a totally new version of yourself and your life. Because you can't take who you are right now with you if you want effortless financial abundance. In other words, the person sitting there watching this presentation right now today won't recognize the person you become when you use the Wealth Compass program. So Are you ready to release your old story and a version of yourself that won't allow abundance into your life for a version of yourself who easily can? Well, the first step of this journey is listening to track one, or true north, on your wealth compass, connecting with your natural state. Now, think about this. Your brain can't hear a negative. You see, your attention moves wherever it's directed by your subconscious and doesn't question whether it's right or wrong. So if you're worrying about something, your attention, or the observer, is only going to result in revealing more of those things. However, it works the same way for what you do want. When you create a conscious relationship with your natural state, your only work is to simply acknowledge when you have an emotional charge to whatever circumstances you're bumping up against when they organically happen. In other words, when you look at a price tag and you think, it's too much, you're actually feeling an emotional charge. That's when the outside world, or that price tag, bumps up against a limiting belief or the old story you're telling about scarcity and not having enough money, the baggage in your backpack. But how can you tell the truth about your emotional charges if you don't have a clear relationship with your unlimited natural state of abundance? So in track one, we dive into what abundance really is. And it's not just about money. Abundance is limited love, creativity, health, happiness, freedom, and being able to effortlessly allow what you want into your life experience without ever wondering if you can have it or if you deserve it. Then in track two, or east on your wealth compass, is a track I named Feed the Good Wolf. Now, like I said a minute ago, your brain can't hear a negative. So if you say no more bills, your brain hears bills. Feeding the Good Wolf is a play off the old Native American story where a grandfather tells his grandson, there are two wolves that live inside of you, a good wolf and a bad wolf. The grandson naturally asks, which wolf wins? The grandfather answers, the wolf you feed. Well, in track two, Feed the Good Wolf, I'm going to help you tell the truth about your emotional charges. Now, I will admit, acknowledging your emotional charges can feel uncomfortable at first. After all, it can be hard to look at our own stuff. Otherwise, we do it all the time, right? But when you listen to Feed the Good Wolf, it'll become easier and easier to dive into your discomfort. Tell the truth about it, and watch as magic reveals itself in your constantly changing reality, and a constantly changing you for that matter. It'll get to the point that it's so easy to feel the contrast of what you don't want, acknowledge it, and then quickly redirect your attention to your natural state, that you'll get excited whenever you experience an emotional charge. You'll be more and more curious about what your old story has been resisting or blocking from your attention. And you'll finally get to see what has always been on the other side waiting for you. In other words, the reward far outweighs any discomfort. It becomes a game that only you play. And every time you choose to feed the good wolf or tell the truth about what's really possible for you, when you're bumping up against your old story and whatever circumstances come with it, well, the faster you'll reveal and live your natural state. In the end, if you don't choose where your attention is or which wolf you feed, your subconscious will. That's why choosing the thoughts you think or where your attention is directed is the most important skill you can ever develop. And every time you listen to a track in the Wealth Compass program, you're automatically clearing away old limiting conditioning and dissolving it. That's how you open up to your natural state. Can you see how the Wealth Compass program is different yet? If not, in track 3 or south on your Wealth Compass, waking up from the dream, prepare yourself to feel your brain rewiring itself, which is just another way of saying your mind will be blown. Now, as the observer of your reality and your experience, you have to own everything you create, including, or I should say especially, the things you don't want. I mean, how can you change something if you don't acknowledge you created it in the first place? You can't, and you won't. Instead, you'll just judge it, and you can't judge something and change it at the same time. They're two completely different actions. However, when you acknowledge that you already created your reality, even though it was your subconscious pulling the strings, it becomes not only possible to change it, but it actually allows this change to become easier than you ever thought possible. In fact, I like to take that line of thinking to the next level and appreciate the heck out of my creation, even the scary parts. Because appreciation is one of those few things that softens your resistance to change. Whereas judgment or thinking of something as good or bad pushes away what you want. It's the ultimate form of resistance. Now, I'm going to get a little woo-woo on you. I want you to think about when you dream. Who are you in the dream? Well, you're everything and everyone in the dream. It's all you. It's your subconscious playing itself out in some pretty freaking cool ways, too, if you ask me. So here's another question. Is reality really so different? And regardless of your answer right now, in track 3, waking up from the dream, you'll discover that everything is your creation. In other words, if you see a price tag, have an emotional charge, and don't acknowledge the power of your attention, then you're just willingly giving more of your power away to the illusion of reality. And here's why I put reality in quotes. Just like the opening quote in the beginning of this presentation, we have the habit of thinking that what we see out there is somehow separate from us. Well, it's not. Everything, and I do mean everything you experience, is your creation. That means there's no such thing as an objective reality. There's only your subjective experience of reality. That also means if you want abundance, you can't ever complain about what you don't have again. Because every single time you do, you're knowingly and willingly giving your power away to the illusion you created. Why would you ever do that again, knowing what you know now? Another question. If everything comes from the field and the field is your natural state, why would you ever need to experience limitation again? Well, it turns out the answer is because you gave your power away and separated yourself from all that you are. But please, don't take the blame. I figured it out because I had to stay alive and continue surviving. I had to question everything, and I had the freedom to wander and wonder without anyone telling me what I can't do. In essence, I had the chance to wake up from the dream before I fully fell asleep and forgot who I really am. Well, track 3 will help you wake up and own the heck out of your creation. That's when the real magic starts to reveal itself. And the beauty of waking up from the dream is the more you truly acknowledge that everything you experience is your creation, the easier it is for your natural state to become your reality. Now, just a second ago, I mentioned how judgment pushes away what you want or forces your brain to focus on a negative, while appreciation softens your resistance and helps you let in what you're putting your attention on. So in track 4, or west on your wealth compass, celebrating your dream, we help get you on the gravy train of appreciation. It's west on your compass because it's always moving you towards your next gold rush. Now, aside from acknowledging where you've given away your power when you feel an emotional charge, appreciation is probably the most impactful tool you have at your disposal. In fact, right now, stop. I want you to imagine a devastating memory, something you experienced yesterday or way back when. Maybe it was a breakup. Maybe it was losing out on a major financial opportunity. Maybe it was losing someone you love more than life itself. Now, as hard as it might feel right now, express massive appreciation for whatever experience first comes to your mind. Then pivot your attention and ask, how will my unlimited natural state of abundance reveal itself for me to experience today? Then go back to living your life and acknowledge your emotional charges when they organically happen, emptying your backpack more and more and more. This one question has helped me through many dark nights of the soul and helped me reveal light and magic behind the illusion my conditioning creates. because asking how my natural state will reveal itself helps me constantly remember to choose where my attention is directed right now. Appreciation is like a real life abracadabra. It helps reveal the magic and abundance behind whatever programs your subconscious is running. So it's your conscious attention that's finally directing the show. Now, there's a structure to the Wealth Compass program. Each track is meant to be listened to once a day for a week, over 4 weeks. One track for every direction of your life's new compass. This allows the theta tones to open up your subconscious and give each track time to integrate into your conditioning, like back processing, and rewrite your old story about scarcity and limitation. And here's why honoring the structure of the tracks is so important. You can't wake up from the dream until you first develop a relationship with your natural state. Remember that? Because you can't tell the truth about what's really possible for you and easily allowed in your natural state until you have a relationship with it first. Of course, if you're like how I was when I first discovered this stuff, you're going to want more guidance, which is totally normal and quite frankly healthy, because there's never any reason you should do something alone that you've never done before. Now, I have a saying, and it helps me not get lost in my old story. The saying is, results don't lie. In other words, your conditioning, and your subconscious mind created what you are, do, and have right now. And don't be afraid to admit that, because acknowledging you've created everything you experience is the path of least resistance to having everything you want. In other words, the contrast of what you don't want only exists to help you redirect your attention towards your real desires, what you do want. That right there makes appreciating what you've created when it's not what you want so incredibly powerful. In other words, contrast or experiencing what you don't want is how you become aware of what you do want. So take a huge sigh of relief because you're about to get more value than you've ever imagined possible out of the hardships you once thought were holding you back. Now you can clearly see that, as it turns out, those hardships you used to judge were the best thing that ever happened to you. Because by creating so much contrast in your life, you know better now than ever what you really want. And all of that desire is going to quickly propel you into a whole new experience, one that gives you direct access to the field and your unlimited natural state of abundance. So I've included an interview where a partner of mine in the Wealth Compass program is going to ask me just the right questions and help me help you discover how to become the leader of your attention. And in this exclusive offer, I'm going to give you the free attention training you must have to easily become the leader of your reality. This video-based training and exercise can single-handedly and very quickly help you shift out of the despondency you're feeling and into a state of utter bliss. I'm also going to teach you how to avoid the pitfalls of an agenda, which is an old trick your story convinces you to do. Because when you really settle into the knowing that everything you want, it already exists, why would you ever need an agenda again? This is something I've been doing for clients since 2005 with incredible success, but that's not all. Because I also want you to feel the constant emotional support you want, need, and absolutely deserve. So I have one more very special bonus. My team and I developed a private Facebook group called the Wealth Compass Inner Circle, where I'll be posting videos often and responding to your questions. Plus, we're going to host 3 monthly video hangouts where you can ask me your questions live. You may even be invited to be on one of these hangouts where I'll interview you live and help you get to the heart of your resistance for everyone watching to also benefit from, which is really powerful. Keep in mind, this is a free 30-day trial. So when you get on the checkout page, when you click there, make sure to uncheck the box if you don't want my ongoing help and feedback. And one more thing, before I forget, you also get text versions of each track in the Wealth Compass program so you can follow along and absorb the information in the way that's easiest for you. Now, with that in mind, I obviously want you to feel excited about becoming a new version of yourself. one that easily allows everything you want to be yours, especially financial abundance and all the freedom that comes with it. That's why I want to give you plenty of time to reveal the magic for yourself without any financial pressure. So here's the deal. Use the Wealth Compass program for 2 full months. And if for any reason you don't see the magic for yourself and don't feel your backpack of story get lighter and lighter, I don't want to keep a penny of your money. This is meant to be a joyous experience. And even though you'll be bumping up against a lot of discomfort, as you become a newer, happier, freer, more abundant version of yourself, I can honestly say it's the most liberating experience you will ever have the chance to see, touch, and feel. And again, if you don't agree, you'll get a full, no questions asked refund. Now, I'm really big on defining moments. I remember an old Kevin Costner movie called Tin Cup, where his character says, "You either define the moment or the moment defines you." Well, this is perhaps the biggest defining moment of your life. Because yeah, you can continue giving your power away to a reality you create. That's certainly your choice. Or you can make a new decision. You can choose to take your power back and watch your reality become wherever you choose to direct your attention. And the choice is yours. But please, I don't want to downplay your decision. I know it's not always as easy as I'm describing, but taking leaps of faith aren't meant to be easy. Or we do it all the time, right? It's my authentic hope that you want to discover the answer for yourself and embark on a journey back to where everything you could ever want already exists and is waiting for you right now. Is that a reality you want? Well, if you're ready to take that leap yourself, if you're ready to watch the illusion of limitation disappear, leap now. Click or tap the button below, and you'll be taken to my secure order form where you'll be able to instantly download the Wealth Compass program and start revealing your real life magic today. Again, you get the month-long 1 track a week Wealth Compass program. Each track will help you develop, nurture, and empower your conscious attention instead of letting the past determine your future. By the end of your first week alone, you'll be armed with the real-world tools to quickly and effortlessly stand toe-to-toe with your old story, the conditioning that has tragically tricked you into giving away your power to your creation. In other words, you'll see through the illusion and start telling the truth about reality throughout the course of each and every day. And rather than giving your power away, like when you get an unexpected bill, you'll see the opportunity to acknowledge your power and dissolve the limitation, dissolve that story. And most importantly, for what might be the first time in your life, you'll witness the magic and superpowers you've always had at your disposal. And every time you see this magic, it'll help you let go of your old story and empty your backpack enough for your new story to capture your full and undivided attention. And how to become the leader of your attention, you'll hear me break down how I discovered why my attention creates my reality and how I personally apply the law of attention. There's even a simple breathing exercise that I'll show you in the bonus video that can single-handedly transform your life. And that's a real statement, by the way. And lastly, you'll have a month of free access to the Wealth Compass Inner Circle, which includes my private Facebook group, as well as my Wealth Compass Hangouts, where you can ask me anything, and even be on the Hangout with me. And don't forget, if you're not thrilled by what you experience when you invest in your instantly downloadable version of the Wealth Compass program, as well as the support you receive from me, yours truly, and other Law of Attention users in the Wealth Compass Inner Circle, I'll give you a no questions asked refund. And you have 60 days to prove everything I've just said is true for you. So click or tap, have an amazing, abundant day, and I'll see you in a second. Still here? You might have some questions about the Wealth Compass program. Here are the answers to some of the most frequently asked questions. Question number 1, why didn't the law of attraction work for me? Well, the biggest flaw in the law of attraction is how it almost forces you to focus on what you don't want. In other words, when you intend for something more, it's usually in reaction to something you don't have. The problem is intentions are fleeting, and once they wear off, often in only a matter of seconds, all you're left with is an attention that's focused on mounting bills, a lack of clients and customers, or not making enough money at your job. Here's the thing, the past doesn't dictate the future. That's 100% true. But it's also 100% wrong, because the past does dictate the future as long as you're focused on your present circumstances about financial lack. The bottom line is you'll never have more money when you intend for it, if you're in reaction to what you don't have. So, to answer your question more directly, law of attraction didn't work for you for multiple reasons. One being that all the things in your life right now that represent financial lack also reflect a story about the past. And telling a story about the past blocks the future you want and deserve. Telling a story pushes away your natural state. After all, your story is the stuff in the backpack, it's the clouds. And that's what resists what you tell the universe you want. But there's a second reason law of attraction didn't work and won't work. You see, most of the people who teach law of attraction don't genuinely understand how they already manifest their own reality. That's why a lot of teachers can't make a financial living unless they're teaching you how to manifest more money. Here's another question. What will happen to the other manifestation or personal development material I've already learned? Well, right now, all that quote-unquote learning is actually part of what's holding you back. Because at this point, it's now become part of the old story that needs to be dissolved and reprogrammed. Fortunately, this is what the Wealth Compass helps you achieve. But once you start seeing the results of your newly conditioned subconscious conditioning, your new story will capture more and more of your attention. And when that happens, it becomes massively easier to tap into something you'll soon discover is your new best friend, momentum. In other words, the more you start seeing real life magic that naturally occurs when you acknowledge your power or tell the truth about reality, the more of this magic you'll start seeing. That's the power of harnessing and directly accessing the field with a simple pair of headphones. Again, the theta tones speak directly to your subconscious conditioning, where the sabotaging and limiting programming that automatically directs your attention can be dissolved. It's not something you have to do or learn. So, are you still confused? Well, maybe think about this. Where did your limiting beliefs around money come from? Where did your beliefs about love and soulmates come from? When did you learn how to be you? You didn't. It happened over time as you absorbed the conditioning all around you. I'm talking about the conditioning from your parents, friends, TV, pop culture, Hollywood, government, and religion, and so many more things. And as you use your headphones and listen to the theta tones that open up your subconscious for unlimited thinking, you're changing and transforming automatically. Exactly how your conditioning was laid down in the first place, quite frankly. Another question. How can I get the most out of the Wealth Compass? Once you're inside the members area, the first thing you'll see is my welcome video. It's where I explain exactly how to get the most out of the Wealth Compass step by step. Plus, once you're part of the Wealth Compass inner circle, you'll have tons of support, both from me and my team. We're here to guide you every step of the way, so revealing the abundance you know is out there, just waiting for you, is easy and effortless and full of constant support. Here's another question. How soon should I expect results? Honestly, every person is different and every brain responds differently to the Wealth Compass. Many experience powerful results the very first time they put their headphones on. I did. Others may require a little longer to truly feel the results of the massive rewiring the brain is undergoing. Because you don't know which category you'll fall in, use the program as directed before you decide for yourself whether this real-life magic is, well, real for you. And of course, it all starts out with tackling those initial limiting beliefs that stream like noise in your thoughts telling you, it's not my natural state to be abundant. That's just woo-woo new age thinking. Well, that's a belief. That's a particle. That's you using the observer, your attention, to create a reality you don't actually want. So, are you ready for a different experience? I mean, yes or no? If the answer is yes, good. I mean, really, it's really good. Just listen to the assigned track daily. And don't judge your progress. Let your progress be what it will be. Keep this in mind too. Your results are cumulative. The longer and more consistently you use the Wealth Compass, the more exciting your results will be. That's the power of momentum again, right? So here's another question. Is using the Wealth Compass program a form of mind control? All right, big one for me. Absolutely not. You're receiving new information and conditioning all the time. CNN, Fox News, the radio, the internet. Because everything is always becoming. It never stops moving. It's never static or stagnant. That's why you're always becoming where your attention is right now. The entire purpose of me putting out the Wealth Compass program and introducing you to the law of attention is simple. I want you to wake up each and every day confidently knowing you create your experience of reality, that you're the observer of your own life experience and all the other people and circumstances in your life experience. So every time you put on your headphones and listen to a track from the program, you're going toe to toe with the illusion that forgetting how powerful you really are creates. After all, an illusion is only real if you believe it. Remember that when I said it earlier? So the moment you see the illusion, the real life magic I'm talking about will become more and more apparent, making it easier and easier to keep moving forward and allow yourself to develop a relationship that's deeper and deeper with your natural state of abundance. If you call that brainwashing, well, then you're welcome. Here's another question. Is my personal information safe? Yes, definitely. Our site uses the latest encryption software. Plus, we never share your contact information with anyone ever. You're not going to be on any lists. Your personal information could not be safer. Another question. How is my investment in myself protected? All right. You literally have zero risk with the Wealth Compass. You have a full 60 days to prove me right that unlimited abundance can be yours. And real life magic does exist. Now, if at any point during that 60-day period you decide the program's not for you, you can return it for a full refund, no questions asked. Your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed. So at this point, you truly have nothing to lose and everything to gain with the Wealth Compass, like seeing massive financial prosperity that already exists beyond your discomfort and fear. Isn't it time to rewrite your story and change your reality of limitations into one of expansive abundance, no matter your age, experience, upbringing, or even past failures? Truly, the field doesn't care about any of that. It doesn't care about the story. Everything you want already exists within the field, inside the field, right now. Discover today how easy it can be to access it, to access all the stuff in the field you want, and allow all the things you desire to flood towards you like the river finally reaching the ocean. So click or tap the button below this presentation, and I'll see you in a second.